I think I have a new favorite trade haul for the number 1 overall pick that can actually happen for the Chicago Bears. It makes sense and it boosts this team more than I could have imagined. And as I broke it more down, it could make us an instant Super Bowl contender next year. Okay, hang on. I need you all to relax based on my last comment, but also the idea I'm about to have ahead. This trade back will not include the Chicago Bears getting Marvin Harrison Jr. Remember I just said deep breath? Please take one again. So, have you seen the current wide receiver class in this upcoming draft? We will get a stud, whether it's a 5 overall pick, a top 10 overall pick, or even a top 15 overall pick. Whether it's Malik Neighbors from LSU, Robe Aduze from Washington, or Xavier Legette from South Carolina, Chicago will be just fine finding a wide receiver 2 to pair with DJ Moore that is going to put this offense to a new level. But here's what I want you guys to imagine with not getting Marvin Harrison Jr. The Chicago Bears could have Montez Sweat and another established Pro Bowl All-Pro defensive edge on this line. Because if the Chicago Bears trade with the Las Vegas Raiders this offseason, getting an established pass rusher in Maxx Crosby, the 11th overall pick, and even a second this year, which we're currently missing, and a first next year, I would do that 100%. Sorry, Marvin Harrison Jr. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, thank you for tuning in. Yes, I am doing a trade now with the Las Vegas Raiders, and it could have an even bigger impact on the Chicago Bears than the Carolina DJ Moore Darnell Wright trade last year. This team would be an instant contender next year if this happens, and can still afford to be very active in free agency, even taking on Crosby's contract and having 2 firsts this year, 2 firsts next year, and getting a second rounder back this year can be an absolutely massive boost to this team and something that's unheard of in my opinion. Before I begin this video, if you're in to make this trade with the number 1 overall pick or trade the number 1 overall pick in general, smash that like button on this video to show that you're in agreement, and also share your thoughts in the comments section below. So let's start with why the Las Vegas Raiders are a perfect trade partner. Let's be honest, the Raiders are an absolute mess right now. It all started in 2022 when they traded for star wide receiver Davante Adams from the Green Bay Packers, sending Green Bay this past year's first and second round picks. Since then, Adams really hasn't done a whole lot that he was expected in Las Vegas, but that's not his fault. He's pretty angry with the Raiders after they traded his good friend Derek Carr away from the team, a big reason why Adams agreed to go to the Raiders, which they replaced Derek Carr with Jimmy Garoppolo. Not only is your best player on offense not happy, you also gave up a ton of early draft capital that could have been used on a quarterback or another wide receiver. And oh yeah, the reason why he's not really working out right now, he's got no one to throw to him. Then the Raiders went and fired their head coach Josh McDaniels in the middle of the season, also fired their GM who put this disaster together in Dave Ziegler, and then most of the coaching staff was also fired after the departure of McDaniels. So where the Raiders are now, no for sure direction moving forward, at least till the offseason, a new staff inbound, a decent amount of cap in 2024, even before this trade of Maxx Crosby, and no current franchise quarterback. What does that sound like? A rebuild to me. So let's go through the overall trade and what I'm doing with the Las Vegas Raiders. So the Raiders are now going to enter their first year of this disaster of a rebuild that they're going to have to do with a new staff and front office. And what do teams usually do in this situation? They draft their franchise quarterback of the future. So the Raiders currently own the number 11 overall pick along with an early second at number 42, and that's just at the moment. The Raiders were once the 6th overall pick a few weeks ago. Because of their record currently, they're kind of in flux of where they're going to end up. But with the direction they're going, likely top 10. Not only that, but if Chicago is willing to move out of the top 10 with the number 1 overall pick, if they stick at 11, let's say, they're going to need top 10 talent in return right away. That's when you bring in 2-time All-Pro and 2-time Pro Bowler edge Maxx Crosby, who has 2 years on his contract starting next year. This trade is very possible. The reason why this is possible is last year, the Bears got 2 firsts out of the trade like they would do in this trade, a second out of the trade, a top 10 wide receiver in DJ Moore, who's had an instant impact on this team, and that was for the number 1 overall. Ironically, we have the number 1 overall again, and we got the number 8 last year. So the Las Vegas Raiders, they're going to have to amp it up just a little bit more. So let me break down the overall trade now exactly to the numbers. I am trading the number 1 overall pick to the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are sending the Chicago Bears the number 11 overall pick, the number 42 overall pick, edge Maxx Crosby, a 2025 first, and a 2025 fourth. Again, we're getting a slightly less valued first round pick this year out of the Las Vegas Raiders, but they're getting a generational type quarterback or a wide receiver, which is why we need to get an even bigger haul from them this year, including Maxx Crosby in a first round next year. That will leave Chicago with the following if the draft started today: the number 5 overall pick, the number 11 overall pick, the number 42 overall pick, the number 71 overall pick, the number 106 overall pick, the number 132nd overall pick, thanks to the Philadelphia Eagles, and the number 140 overall pick. And taking on Maxx Crosby's contract at the moment would leave us with $58 million in the offseason before cutting guys like Cody Whitehair, who save you another $9 million. So after this trade, the Bears have all those picks and $67 million in free agency. And yes, that is before re-signing guys like Jalen Johnson and a few other individuals. But now on the roster, you have 2 all-pro defensive edges, a top 5 linebacker room, the best young developing defensive secondary in football. You're also 1 defensive tackle away, which I'm going to do a mock draft here tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. And then on the offense, you have a top 5 wide receiver 1 in DJ Moore, a top 10 tight end 1 in Cole Kmet. You're 1 center and another wide receiver away from solidifying this offense, and you have a very well progressing Justin Fields. Don't give me the fumbles comment. I'm going to completely ignore it. Go look at his last 17 games, 2,900 yards, 25 touchdown passes, 12 interceptions, and 93 QBR. I think he's doing just fine. And those missing positions at defensive tackle, wide receiver 2, and center can all be taken at 5, 11, and 42 in this draft. So yeah, how you feeling after that one? Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. I'm pumped that this trade happens. Put your thoughts in the comment section below. And again, please make sure to hit that like button on the video. And if you want to stay up to speed on all Chicago Bears content, make sure to hit the subscribe button with notifications. Thank you again for tuning in. And as always, bear down, baby.